Jaltipan, Veracruz, dealing with the rural community hospitals that they're building there, and making sure to provide the education, the letting them know what the benefits they have coming, what size, and the information about the hospitals, that medications are going to be given to every hospital that they're building, even in the very rural areas. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let him start telling you all about the fourth transformation, and I hope you enjoy this. This is going to be translated to Spanish. I'm sorry, from Spanish to English. Okay.
Damas y caballeros, escuchemos el mensaje que nos dirige el presidente constitucional de los Estados Unidos Mexicanos, licenciado Andrés Manuel López Obrador.
Okay. I just want to make
Amigas,
sure
amigos de Jaltipan,
friends from Jaltipan,
de otros pueblos,
and from other towns and municipalities as well.
El estado de Veracruz, me da mucho gusto
From the state of Veracruz, I am
estar
very
aquí con
happy to be here with you
Estamos
all.
visitando
We are
los
visiting
hospitales
the hospitals
de el IMSS Bienestar.
from
Hay 80
Bienestar.
hospitales
There's 80
de este
hospitals
programa
in
en el
this
país,
program in our country,
y los vamos a visitar todos,
and we're going to visit all of them.
porque tenemos que resolver
We have to resolve
el desafío
the
que
defiance
significa
that it
mejorar la
means
atención médica,
to better
que
medical attention,
mejore
and that it will be better,
la salud pública,
this public health,
y que se cumpla
and that we
lo que está
comply
escrito en la
what is
Constitución,
written in the
el artículo
Constitution
cuarto,
in Article number
el
4,
derecho
the
del
right
pueblo a la salud.
of the people to health.
Por eso,
For this reason,
ahora la gira
today this
la
meeting
estoy haciendo
that I'm doing
con estas visitas
with these
a
visits
hospitales.
to hospitals,
Desde luego,
of course,
son muchos los problemas,
there's many
graves
grave
problemas
problems,
nacionales.
big ones
Pero
nationally,
Voy priorizando.
but I am prioritizing.
Le estoy dando más tiempo
I'm giving it
a lo
more
que
time
considero
to that I
más
consider
difícil.
most difficult.
y
And
esto
this
requiere de atención.
requires attention
Porque
because
está
it
muy
is
mal
very bad.
el sistema de salud pública.
The system of public health in our country.
Les podría decir que está
I
peor
could say that it's
el
worse,
sistema de salud que
the
el
system
sistema
of health,
educativo.
than the education system.
Nada más que
Not only, but
en los
the,
gobiernos pasados por
it's
la
in the past
llamadas
governments
reformas
that according to
estructurales,
the structural reforms that they
pusieron el
imposed,
centro del debate,
and it was the center of the debate on
en eso
reform for education.
toda la polémica. Si
That's
estaba
why
bien, estaba mal la educación,
There was this whole controversy as to whether it was good or it was bad, this
fue
education.
polarizar, dividir
All they did was
a
divide
la población.
the
Pero-
population.
Si un maestro no cumple con su
And if a
responsabilidad,
teacher did not comply with his responsibility and he doesn't give classes,
pues sí afecta.
yes, it does
Acabar
affect.
eso.
Yes, and that needs to
El
end too.
ausentismo
Absenteeism of the
cada de la
teachers.
semana, de martes a jueves,
You shouldn't have
Tienen que
days from
ir a dar
Tuesday
todos los
to
días.
Thursday.
Para
They
eso son
need to
las
give
vacaciones.
classes every day. That's what classes, vacations are for.
Pero si no llega el maestro,
But if the teacher
ahora
doesn't
sí
come,
que, aceptando sin conceder, como dirían los abogados, pues
but
no pasa
if you
mucho.
accept, it's not like a lot is happening, like with another teacher may
A la
come,
casa con la mamá,
and
con la
maybe a
abuelita.
teacher
Pero
comes.
imagínense
But
que
imagine
llega un
that
enfermo,
a sick person
un
comes,
infartado al
someone
hospital,
who's had a MI,
y no hay la medicina,
and there's no medication,
no alcanza a llegar a Coatzacoalcos.
he won't make it to
Pierde la
Huachapatos.
vida.
He'll lose his life.
Entonces, por eso
So for this reason,
estamos dando
we are
mucha
giving
atención
lots of attention
a este
to this
asunto
matter
para que
in order that
mejoremos
we can better it,
el sistema de salud.
this system of health.
Se malinterpretó porque dije que
It
no me
was-
preocupaba mucho la economía.
It wasn't misinterpreted that I said I wasn't too worried about the economy,
Cuando
because there was an anecdote that when they presented the elections in the U.S., and it was the first time
Clinton,
that
candidato,
Clinton was a candidate,
que él
and he
dio a conocer o se le atribuye,
or it was attributed to him, or he let them know
viendo cómo estaban los
that
problemas en Estados
seeing
Unidos,
how the problems were in the
que lo
U.S.,
principal era
that
atender
the
la economía,
principal thing was to attend to the
él
economy,
expresó
and he
la
expressed
economía
that economy
tonto,
was dumb,
es decir, ocúpate de eso,
that it needs
la
attention.
economía.
The economy does.
Pues ya aquí,
Well, then here,
lo cierto
the certain
es
thing
que
is
vamos caminando para tener mejores condiciones económicas.
that we're working forward to
Lo tenemos,
having
vamos
better
a decir, encauzado,
economic conditions,
porque
which has been
ya
caused
sabemos
because, as
que
we
para que
know,
funcione la economía,
that for
para que haya crecimiento, para que
economy
haya empleo, para que
to
haya
grow,
bienestar,
so there could
depende
be employment and well-being, is that there's
Eso
not
lo
being
tengo
corruption.
clarísimo.
So this is very clear to me,
Y ya no hay corrupción.
and there is no more
Tolerada.
corruption that's tolerated.
Y estamos limpiando ya, de arriba para abajo.
And
como
we
se
are
limpia las
cleaning
escaleras.
now from top to
Porque
bottom,
nada de
like
que
you clean the stairs.
El presidente no sabía.
It's not like the president
No,
didn't know.
los
Of course,
negocios
of
más jugosos
the most juicy
que
deals
se hacían en
that were
México,
done in Mexico,
todos
all of them
se llevaban a cabo con el visto bueno del presidente.
were known about by the president.
Entonces, si
So,
arriba
So if
ya no
above
se permite la corrupción,
you don't permit
pues
corruption,
entonces se va a tener
then of
autoridad
course
moral
there will
suficiente
be
para decir,
moral support
no se
sufficient to
permite
say
la
we
corrupción
do
en
not
ningún
permit
nivel
corruption
de
at
escala
any
del
level
gobierno.
of
Se
the
acaba
scale
la
of
corrupción.
government. Corruption ends.
Pero si el presidente
But
da
if
mal
the
ejemplo,
president gives a bad example,
de los gobernadores,
then the
presidentes
governors,
municipales,
the municipal
que la
presidents,
corrupción no se da de abajo
corruption
hacia arriba.
isn't from the bottom to the top, it's from the top to the bottom.
Entonces ya empezamos
So therefore we've
a
started
limpiar de
to
corrupción.
clean
Y
up
eso
this
nos
corruption.
ayuda mucho,
And this helps us very
porque
much
se ahorra
because you
mucho
save
dinero.
lots of
La
money.
corrupción no solo hay que combatirla
Corruption
por razones de
isn't
índole
only
moral,
fought with
sino
morals,
porque
but
se
also
liberan muchos
it
fondos
liberates lots of
para el
funds
desarrollo.
for
No hace
development.
falta aumentar impuestos.
And you don't need to
No
increase
hace falta
taxes,
crear impuestos nuevos.
and you don't need
Y
to
no hace
create,
falta que haya gasolinazo.
increase
Que aumente la deuda.
taxes or increase
Entonces, acabar
gas,
con la corrupción.
or you
Solo
don't
un
increase
ejemplo,
the
nada
debt.
más.
It's just to end
Se robaban
corruption. They used to steal
800 pipas diarias
800 pipes a day
con el
with this
huachicol,
guachicol, this is the illicit gas thievery. But now it's not quite done, but they did nothing.
se permitía en la
In-
torre de Pemex,
In the tower of Pemex, they permitted it.
piso 3,
On the third
había
floor,
todo un sistema
they had a
completo de
whole
monitoreo
system
para
that was to
conocer la
monitor
presión de los
and to
ductos.
know when the ducts
Y
lost
ahí se
pressure.
sabía
And so they
cuando había
knew
tomas clandestinas,
when there was
estaban ordeñando
clandestine
los ductos.
thievery and
Y
someone was
sonaba
getting
la
into the
alarma.
ducts, and
Pero
an
podía
alarm
estar
would sound,
sonando todo
but
el
it could
día.
ring all day,
Oh, sonaba
or it
que
would
estaba
ring
en el norte y se
that
iba
it was
para
in the north, and then it went to the south.
a buscar
And
la
they'd
toma
go look for it
clandestina
in
otra
the
parte.
wrong area that they knew it was not at.
La misma Secretaría de
The
Hacienda
same Secretary of
tenía
Hacienda
contabilizado ese
had
robo
accounted for that theft,
por descontar
so they would just
desde
discount
hace
it
años
for years.
lo que se robaban
What they were
de
stealing
combustible.
from
Llegamos y dijimos,
gasoline.
se acabó el huachicol,
And so we
no va a
said
haber huachicol,
it ended, this
ni arriba
guachicol,
ni abajo.
from the top to the bottom.
Y
And
ya
now
lo hemos
we
combatido
we have
bastante.
combated it very much, and it's lowered.
Todavía
Yes,
Ayer,
of
antier,
course.
hubo
The other
problemas
day,
en Puebla,
we had some problems in
pero
Puebla,
ya no se roban las 800 pipas.
but they don't
Ahora
steal 800
son
pipes.
40.
There's 40.
De 800 a 40.
From
Bajamos
800 to 40.
95%.
We've dropped it
¿Qué significa
95%. So what
El
does
año
this mean?
pasado, el robo de
Last year,
combustible
the gas thieving meant
65 mil millones de
65
pesos.
million pesos.
Si seguimos como vamos,
And if we continue the way we're going, we're going to save
cuando menos
at
50
the
mil
minimum
millones.
50 million pesos.
Ese es un ejemplo
That's just one
de
example
cómo
of
si se
how,
combate la corrupción,
if
se
you
libera
combat
todo.
corruption, you liberate funds for development. Another
Esto no lo
example,
sabían
this,
ustedes aquí en
you didn't
Jaltipan,
know it
y
here
eso
in
que
Jaltipan,
son de los más informados,
and you are some of the
más
most informed
conscientes,
and the most
más
conscious,
avispados.
this most
No sabían
smart.
que los de enero arriba,
You didn't know that
no
the ones
pagaban
way
impuestos.
above were not paying
Imagínense
taxes.
una
Imagine
empresa famosa,
a big, famous company. Just think any, just imagine one.
un banco famoso.
Let's see, think of a famous bank.
Consideren, pues, ese
Just
banco,
think that
esa
bank
empresa no pagaba
and that
impuestos.
company did not pay taxes.
Se les condonaban
They condoned
los impuestos.
their taxes
En 2 sexenios
for
se condonaron
two 12 and
400
6-year
mil
terms.
millones de pesos.
They condoned 400,000 million
Al
pesos.
campesino,
And yes, to the worker, to the
a la enfermera, al
nurses,
médico,
to the
al
doctors,
comerciante,
and the-
al pequeño,
and
mediano
the small
empresario,
businesses, they
a todos a
all
pagar impuestos.
had to pay
Pero
taxes, but
había
not
una élite que no pagaba
the
impuestos.
elite did
Se
not
acabó
pay.
eso ya.
So this has ended now,
Emití un decreto,
and I've made a
ya no hay
decree
condonaciones
that
de
we do
impuestos
not
para
condone
nadie,
taxes
mucho
for
menos
anybody,
para
much
los de
less
arriba.
the upper class or the most, making the
¿Qué
most money.
significa eso?
So what does this mean?
Que tenemos ya más
It means
recaudación.
that we will have more
Estamos
recovery.
dando la recaudación.
So now we can count of the recovery of taxes.
Le quiero llamar impuestos,
I don't even want to call them taxes.
contribuciones.
I want to call them
La
contributions
gente también, de
because the
manera
people
consciente,
are
está
conscientious
cumpliendo
and are
con su
complying
responsabilidad.
with the responsibility.
La economía
So
va,
therefore the economy
vamos bien,
is doing
son
well.
dos datos
Maybe
más.
there's two more
Está
things.
controlada la inflación,
Inflation is
hay
controlled.
menos inflación
There's less
que el
inflation
año pasado.
than last year.
Les doy un dato
And
importante,
I'm going to give you one
porque
important piece of
no
data
se sabe.
because
Eso
it's
no les
not,
conviene difundirlo
they won't tell
a
you
los de los
from
medios
the media,
convencionales,
the conventional
con
media,
honrosas excepciones.
like with very few exceptions.
Nuestro peso
Our
es
peso, our
la
currency,
moneda
is the
que
currency
más se ha
that is
fortalecido
the
en el
most
mundo
strengthened in
en
the
este
world
año,
in this
en
year
comparación
in
con el dólar.
comparison to the dollar.
Entonces,
So
vamos
therefore,
bien en la economía.
we are doing well in the economy. And in health well-being, we're doing well as well, and we're moving along.
Decía Cuitlahua,
Cuitlawa used to say,
y aquí lo puedo probar,
and here I can prove it.
nada más en Jaltipan,
Here in Harding,
adultos mayores
older
han
adults
recibido
or elderly have
hasta
received,
ahora su pensión
as of now, their pension
3.239, adultos mayores,
3,029,
98%,
98%.
1.160,
No more
2.550.
1,160. It's 2,250 or 550. And what Cuitlawa used to say, that program in Jaltipan in 1 year is 50 million pesos.
Quiere decir
So that means
que cerca de
that nearly
5 millones
5 million
mensuales
monthly
de rama económica.
of the economic branch.
Pero
But
también
also,
podría decir
I could say
que
that
ya 300,
that 300
304
or
personas,
304
niñas y niños con discapacidad en
uh,
Jaltipan
in
también están
Jaltipan
recibiendo
are
su
also
pensión.
receiving their pension. Awesome.
Y ya se
And
están entregando las becas
they are giving the grants
a la
already
primaria.
for the primary school and secondary,
Ahí vamos
which is
todavía
like middle school. And so
muy
we're
atrasados.
still a
En
little
el
bit
caso
behind because
de las
in the case
becas,
of the grants for
para el nivel básico,
the basic
solo
level,
se han entregado
they've only given
246,
246,
que significa
which means 23% from 1,073 that they're going to be giving in grants for students with middle school, or superior, or prep school. And if they study in Jaltipan, 1,588 that are in bachelor's colleges, and they've received 1,292, and there we're at 81%. And in the case of those that are studying in the universities, there's 36, and they have their grant, $2,400 a month. And the youth that are constructing the future, that do not have work, they're contracting them as apprentices. And there's 400 youth that each one is earning $3,600 a month in order to work. So this is moving forward. And it's about to be initiated. The university up here. And they tell me they've been advancing in the creation of that university. It's in the substantiable, they're going to have one here, at one university here. And we also are applying the program for products and production in the fields, what used to be in ranches. And so now we've given 477 people have received credit on their work that's called dandas for well-being, because it consists of giving a small credit, 600, 10,000 pesos, without interest and without paperwork, just based on your word. And within 3 months of the time you've gotten that money, and you've paid it, after 3 months, 500 a month, and then you finish paying that 5,000, 6,000, then you get 15,000. And if you finish the 15, then you get 20. So that you can reactivate the economy for little shops, business, people that are making a life however they can. Like even all of this is working, marching ahead. Even now, we have rescued Pemex, and we are rescuing the Federal Electric Commission. And Pemex was falling, the production was falling, when they approved the so-called electric reform, that they considered the laws that by this time they would be extracting 3 million of barrels daily of petroleum, and they left us a production of 1,650,000 barrels. And they were, for the first time in many years, we had an expropriation of petroleum. We had to buy crude even outside in order to give to the refineries in Mexico. And that crisis has already been controlled, it's been stabilized, and now we're working on 22 fields of petroleum. And we're going to start the production of petroleum. And this will help very much, because it will reactivate our economy. And also, we are bettering the refineries to produce gasoline. It's increasing the production of gasoline, because the refineries were working at 30% of their capacity, and we were buying more than 500 million barrels daily from foreign countries. As of 40 years, we had not made a new refinery in our country because they were trying to finish the petroleum industry. However, fortunately, the alarm went off and the bell rung, and last year the people decided they wanted a change. And it ends now, this privatization, the thieving of the goods of the nation. So now we're ending this construction of Dos Bocas. Yesterday we gave the contracts, and it's an investment of $8 million, so that in 3 years we'll have more gasoline, and we stop buying it, the gasoline, from foreign places, and we can lower the prices of gas. That's our plan that we have, to better the industry of petroleum and electric. All this is going forward. This education also. We're starting to comply with our commitment that I was going to cancel that so-called educational reform. If we've complied with that, we've canceled that educational reform. Now what we're doing is an agreement with teachers and parents to better the quality of teaching. But all this is done by dialogue and consideration, not trying to impose things. President Juarez used to say, nothing by force, all by reason and right. And that's what we are doing. And we're going to better the education situation because it was very bad. We're not going to do it the way they did it before, where they did it by the capsule or some other organism that exists now, or even through the government itself. We're going to lower the budget for the schools, and we're going to send it to the family members, Association of the Family Member, from the Treasury, Federal Treasury, directly to each school, so that they, parents of the family and the teachers, have a budget and they decide what to do in order to better the particular education installations. And now we're going to work that way. Also, everything, all the benefits, the pensions, the grants, everything is given directly. No more through a middleman. The middleman, where they would say, I'm from the organization of Emilio Zapata, Francisco Villa, or Venustiano Carranza, or Jesus Madero, or something, and you give us the money to our organization, and then guess what? We'll give it to the people, what we are supposed to. He says, no more. Now we give it directly, all of it, directly to the beneficiary, with one little card. And it's no longer going to be with the social organizations, or organizations that are so-called non-governmental. Now it's going to be directly. Everything. In order that it comes completely, this benefit to the people. Because if you give it through a middleman, it doesn't arrive. They take a piece. It takes like a little, they take a little chunk of it. So now we wanted to go complete to the people. Yes, yeah, no more frijol con gorgojo, which means taking their cut from it. So then we are going to take education and health, this matter that's right here, 4 actions. 1, that we are not short of medication. That's a big problem. Serious. And it isn't that, it's not that we don't have a budget. We do. The thing is, they were stealing the money even from the medications.
¿Saben cuánto
Do you know how
se
much
destinó el año pasado
was
a la compra
destined
de
last year for the medications? 90,000 million
medicamentos y
for
materiales de
medications
curación.
and materials
Y
for
tres
health
empresas
care.
abastecían al gobierno
And 3
de los
companies
medicamentos.
were
Y
supposed to
monopolio.
be delivering it that.
Entonces,
But
eso se
these
termina.
ends, this
Ahora
ends,
vamos a
we are
cuidar
going to take care
que
that
rinda
it be
presupuesto para
it
las
be enough
medicinas
for the medications and for the people
para cumplir el
in order to
compromiso de que se
comply
entreguen los medicamentos
with a
gratuitos
commitment that the
a
people
todos
get
los
free
mexicanos.
medication to all Mexicans.
Nada del llamado
And
cuatro
no
básicos.
much, no more of that special four. They, let's see,
120
they used to have like
claves,
certain areas used to get like maybe 120,
280
another one 280
aproximadamente.
approximately,
En el
and then in the
régimen ordinario,
ordinary
60.
regimen they would get
Es
700.
decir, enfermos de
That is
primera,
to
de
say,
segunda y de tercera.
They had different qualities of sick people, not anymore.
Todo lo que se necesite
Everything
de
that you need
medicina
of
y
medications
distribución
and
de la
distribution
medicina.
of
¿Cómo
medication.
es que se distribuye
So
la
how do you
Coca-Cola y la
distribute
Sabrita? Y llega hasta el último
Coca-Cola
pueblo. No vamos a
and
poder
the
distribuir
potato chips? If you can
las
distribute
medicinas
those,
de
why
campo
can we
alto.
not distribute those? If I'm lying, I'm dying, basically.
Lo segundo,
The second thing,
los médicos,
the
las
doctors
enfermeras,
and the
los
nurses,
especialistas.
the specialists.
Miren, este es el segundo hospital.
This is the
Llevamos
second
tres
hospital.
hospitales.
Let's see, we visited how many today?
Y
22.
este es el segundo
And this is
donde,
the second
hay menos
that there's less
demanda.
demand.
Tienen un 70%
You have 70%
de ocupación.
of occupation.
70.
70%.
¿Saben quién les gana?
Do you know who's got more than that?
Hay hospitales que
Because
traen
there's hospitals
más de 100
that have more than
de
100
demanda.
of demand,
Ese es el problema
100%.
principal.
So that's the main
Aquí
problem.
70,
Here it's only 70.
el que les gana, y por
And
eso
who is higher than you
le
is
creo al director,
that I
tengo
believe the
confianza.
director, and I
Porque
believe him.
piensan algunos,
Because some think
sí
that,
le creo.
yeah, I believe him, the director.
Es que piensan algunos que yo vengo aquí
Some people think
y
I
me
come here
estoy chupando el dedo
and that
como
I'm
un
like
tonto,
a
que no
dummy
me doy
that's
cuenta que
still
de
sucking
arriba
his
en el
thumb,
hospital nada más
that he
traigo
doesn't
comida
know what's
para
happening.
limpio.
He says all you have to do is look at the hospital to get your example.
Ya soy colmilludo.
He says I've already got my big boy teeth,
Hasta abuelos y la pintura tan...
and I might even be a grandparent soon.
Llego a veces a unos hospitales.
Sometimes I go to hospitals
Pásame un suéter,
and I want to say, give me a sweater,
está el aire acondicionado a
because
todo
the
lo
air
que da.
conditioner is so
Luego
high.
los quirófanos
Even
no
the
hay, ni
surgeries,
siquiera.
some of them don't even have an air conditioner.
Pero digo, ese es
But,
otro asunto.
but I say that's another matter.
Nada más para que
Only so you'll,
no piensen que no
you
me
won't
doy
think
cuenta.
I'm
Sí
not
me doy
aware.
cuenta.
Yes, I am aware of all these
Pero
things.
les voy a decir
But I will
que
tell
el
you
50%
that
de la
50%
ocupación
of the occupation in Buena Vista,
Tierra Caliente,
in Tierra Caliente, Michoacán, has 50%, and here it's 70.
El doctor me dijo algo, que no hay especialistas porque
So they said there's no
hay
specialists
un grave problema
because there's
de
a great
seguridad.
problem of insecurity.
Entonces,
So therefore,
todo está
everything is
relacionado. Entonces,
related.
tenemos que resolver el
So
problema
we have to
de la
resolve the
inseguridad,
problem of
la violencia,
insecurity,
y
violence,
también
and
que no
also
falten los
that there not
médicos,
be a
que no
shortage
falten las
of
enfermeras, los
medications and
especialistas,
nurses and
Fíjense
specialists.
que en
Imagine that in
México
Mexico
nos faltan médicos,
we are short of doctors
nos faltan especialistas.
and we
Ese es
are
un
short of
saldo
specialists,
negativo que nos dejó
and that is
el
something
periodo
that was
neoliberal,
left
36
to us
años.
from the 36 years of this political absurd neoliberalism, because they decided to and dedicated themselves to turn away the students that wanted to study in universities. So they had an exam, for example, to enter a state with 1,000. They would let them 100. So 900 would be turned away. And it's because they cannot pass the test It's because they had no space, because they hadn't budgeted for it, because they figured they wanted private education to grow, so only the ones that had money could study. So there was a time that private schools did grow, but there came a time that it got stuck, because where did the people get the money to pay for this? When the majority of the people, for inexpensive, it was 3,000 to 5,000. And how much does a worker earn in general? A family, 4 or 5,000. So they couldn't pay for college. So what happened with this? That they turned down the students. So now we don't have doctors that the country needs. We have no specialists. And so they talk about that it functioned, this model, or that corruption grew, or that homicides grew. Yes, but there's other problems that originated that we're talking about now. Now we have to have all these doctors, and we have to make conventions or with schools and faculties, because it's not like before, I'll give you more money to the university, because they created also these situations in the universities. They were these places that were dominating the education, public education, where they were getting money too. We have to make sure there's no corruption. So this money goes specially for this, so that people can go in, so they can get more medicine students. But it's for that purpose. So if you have 300, and I want you to have 600, and so when we end this government, we will have enough doctors in our country. It's a plan. So for that, we are working towards. So we now have, in the case of medications, we're going to be taking care of the Dr. Alejandro Corderon is going to be in charge of that. Here with him, he's in charge that medication not be, and for the equipment, and for the hospitals. So he's making them accountable. And so in order for doctors and nurses, specialists, Dr. Savares Perez is here with us too. So see, they're going to be held accountable if something doesn't, if they don't have enough. So he wants them to stand up. So that he says, you're young enough to stand. because we're going to be going through, they're going to be going through all the hospitals, the rural ones. You know how I know what's happening with the color? if they look too white, no, I tell them, hey, you're not working, you're not getting out there if the sun isn't hitting you. So the third thing, to better the installations are that are needed to make hospitals bigger, finish hospitals that were left unconcluded. They left a mess of jobs that were left unfinished. Matias Romero, and they need to amplify the hospital. And they also left other hospitals that was not concluded. So we have to finish that new hospital and put it in the system of IMSS Bienestar, the new hospital, in order to fortify this program. And I want to say that I know this program very well, because it was created in 1979, about 40 years ago. And at that time, I was the director of the Institute of National Indigent Institute, that I was in charge. And I was in charge of initiating the rural medical hospitals. That with the 40 times, it's been changing names. acoplamar, solidarity, opportunities,
prospera, ¿no?
prospera,
Progresa, pues,
oh,
pero-
progresa,
y
he
luego
goes,
prospera y ahora
and then
viene el
prospera,
daño.
and now
Pero
bienestar.
bueno,
But
lo que se
anyway,
quiere
what is
es que
required,
también se los aclaro,
I can clarify,
programa se va
the
a
program
mantener,
will
no
be
desaparece,
maintained.
al
It will not
contrario.
be destroyed. On the contrary,
se va a fortalecer.
we're going to fortify it.
Y
And
lo otro,
the other thing,
precisamente,
precisely,
la tarea 4,
fourth thing
que
is
se mejore la situación
to better the
laboral.
situation with labor,
Los trabajadores de
that
la salud.
workers of
Vamos a
health.
hacer un esfuerzo
So we're going to
porque vamos
do
a
an
regularizar
effort because we're going to
todos los
regulate
trabajadores de la
all
salud
the workers
en el
of health
país.
in the
Es
country.
decir, se van a basificar.
That is
Porque
to
hay
make them
miles
base,
de trabajadores
because there's
de la
many
salud
workers that work in
que
healthcare
están contratados
that are
por horario
contracted like
o
on a temporary
por
basis
contrato,
or like just on a contract, but they don't have permanent jobs.
que son trabajadores
And they're workers that
temporales.
are
Todo
temporary.
eso se va a resolver,
That will be
porque
resolved
necesito el apoyo
because I need the support
como presidente de la
as the President of the Republic, but
mi
also
carácter de titular del
that,
Poder Ejecutivo,
or at my
necesito-
executive, I need,
necesitamos mejor
let's say we all need, in the plural, the support from you all, from the doctors, to better the system of health, from the nurses, from the workers in
que
health,
me ayuden,
for you to help me,
porque no es nada
because
más
it's not
un
just
asunto de
a matter
presupuesto.
of budget,
Tiene que ver
it also has to do
con
with
la actitud
the attitude
que tengamos,
that we all have,
que estemos dispuestos
that we
a
are
servir a los demás.
disposed to
Esto tiene
help
mucho que ver
others.
con el humanismo,
That
con
has
el amor
so
al
much to do
prójimo,
with humanism and love for your neighbor,
que nos ayuden,
that they help us,
porque tenemos que poner de
because
pie
we
al
need to
elefante.
put
Es
that
que
elephant on its
nos
feet.
dejaron un
They left us
elefante
this elephant,
reumático
that
y mañoso.
rheumatoid and with bad habits.
Entonces hay que pararlo
And now we
y
got to
empujarlo.
stand it up
Me
and
van a
push it.
ayudar a empujar el
And you
elefante
are
para
going
que
to
camine.
help me push that elephant to
Eso
walk.
es
That's
lo más
right.
importante.
That is most important.
Carlos Sánchez
Carlos
aquí
Sanchez
es
is here.
encargado de
He's going to be in
infraestructura
charge of the
de salud.
infrastructure of health.
Y
And
el director
the
del
director
Instituto
of the
de Salud para el
Institute of
Bienestar
Health
está
is
aquí, Juan
right
Ferrer,
there, Juan Ferrer.
el que va a hacerse cargo.
He's going to be in charge of that.
Tienen
And
un
they,
director del
you have a
Seguro
director
Social
of Social Security
de primera,
that's first
Moreno
rate.
Robledo.
Moreno Robledo.
¿Saben por qué?
Do you know why?
Vamos a utilizar el
We're
momento
going to utilize the
de
moment
el bienestar para
of IMSS Bienestar
atención
for
a todos
attention
los que no
to
tienen seguridad
all
social.
that don't have
Van a haber
Social Security.
vertientes de
And we're going to have
atención
two
a la salud.
areas of
Los
health.
asegurados
That's the insured
van a estar en el régimen ordinario
are going to be in the normal regimen,
y seguro
East
social,
and Social
y la
Security.
población
And
abierta
the other
van
population
a ser
are going to
atendidos
be attended
con el
with
programa
the IMSS Bienestar
y con
program
centros de salud
and with
y
Center of Health
hospitales de
and
los que
hospitals
antes
that were
eran,
before
porque ya se
because they
cancela el
canceled
llamado seguro
the
popular,
popular
que
security.
ahora va a ser
Now it's going to
Instituto de
be
la Salud para el
Institute of Health
Bienestar,
for Well-Being
porque eso del
because
seguro popular
that's
ni era
popular
seguro, ni era
security
popular.
was neither popular nor was it safe, seguro, or sure.
Entonces,
So,
ya la atención
so now the attention
los derechohabientes
to
pues
the
tiene que ver
rights
con
for
lo que es el seguro
MBM
social.
has to do with Social
Nos
Security.
apoyamos en el seguro
So
social
why do we support
porque
them
una
in Social
institución
Security?
consolidada, se
Because
creó
it's a
desde los años 40.
consolidated that was created in the
Cuentan mucho las
1940s.
instituciones. Ahora
And
nos
these
estamos viendo
institutions count
el
for a
problema
lot
grave que tenemos
because
en
this
seguridad y
grave
violencia,
problem that we have
no
in
se
security
podía
and violence,
contar con el
you
ejército
couldn't count with
ni con la marina,
with the Army or the
porque la
Marines
Constitución lo
because the
prohibía,
Constitution prohibited.
teniendo
Even though we had those two institutions,
el ejército
like the
con
military,
disciplina,
with
con
discipline, with
profesionalismo,
professionalism,
con infraestructura,
with an infrastructure,
con
with
230,000
230,000
La Marina
people.
igual,
Same with the Marines,
65,000 elementos.
65,000
El gobierno
elements.
nada más
And the government
tenía,
had
disponía
only that
de
disposed
10,000
of 10,000
policías federales.
police federal
de la
police,
Policía Federal,
from the federal
sin
police,
disciplina, sin
without discipline,
profesionalismo.
without professionalism.
¿Qué hicimos?
And so what did we
Se
do?
reformó la
We
Constitución.
reformed the
Afortunadamente,
Constitution.
lo entendieron. Todos los
Unfortunately,
partidos.
the parties
Se
didn't
hizo la reforma a
understand.
la Constitución
They did the
para crear
reform
la Guardia
in order to
Nacional
create the
con el
National
apoyo del
Guard
ejército,
with the support of the
de la Marina,
military, the
de
Marines,
la Policía
and
Federal,
the federal police.
y de
And
esa manera
in
garantizar
that way
el
we could
principal
guarantee
problema
the
que
principal
tenemos,
problem that
que
we
es la
had,
inseguridad
which was
y la
insecurity
violencia.
and violence.
Pero
But
apoyándonos
we support
en
ourselves
instituciones
in institutions
hechas y derechas,
that are straight and
como la Secretaría de Defensa,
like
como
the
la
State
Marina.
of Defense
Lo mismo
and
en el caso de
Marines.
salud,
And also in the case of health,
desgraciadamente acabaron
unfortunately, they had finished
con la Secretaría de
with the
Salud.
Secretary of Health.
Les platico qué cosa es la Secretaría
You know
de
what they
Salud que
did with the
heredamos.
Secretary of Health that we
Atiende la Secretaría
inherited?
de Salud Federal
The
7
federal,
hospitales
they only
Todo el
attended
país.
7
Ni
hospitals in the whole
distribuidos
country.
en todo el territorio.
They didn't even go through the whole territory.
De los 7,
From the 7,
en la
all of
Ciudad de
them
México.
were in the city of Mexico.
Eso es lo que hace la Secretaría de
That's
Salud.
what the Secretary of Health was
entregar el
doing.
dinero a
And
los
they were
estados
giving the money to the states
con el Seguro Popular
with the popular security
para que los estados
so that the
se
states
ocupen
could use it
de la atención médica.
for
Y
medical
resulta que se
attention.
entregaba
But they
el
were
dinero
just giving the
a
money
estados
to states
y se usaba el dinero para otras
and they
cosas,
used the money for other things,
no para
not for
la atención médica.
medical attention.
Esa era
So
la
that was
Secretaría de Salud.
the Secretary of Health.
Así heredamos
That's what we inherited, the Secretary of Health.
para tareas,
So
si
that
acaso,
if they-
normativas,
they had even like maybe
porque
normal
lo que
jobs,
tiene que ver con atención
because what had to do with attention of
unidades
health
médicas,
in
hospitales,
general and hospitals, nothing.
podía hacer la Secretaría de
Nothing
Salud
could they
a
do
nivel nacional.
to the national level.
Si acaso,
Even if anything, they might have had some kind of relation with institutes, but
también los institutos son
the
autónomos,
institutes were also
son
autonomous
independientes.
and they were independent. So what did the Secretary of Health do?
Nada.
Nothing.
Entonces la dejaron como un
So they
problema,
left it like a piece of
como
junk,
adorno, nada
like an
más.
adornment.
Entonces, decidimos,
So
bueno,
we
vamos
decided
a mejorar
we're
el
going to
sistema
better
de
the
salud
health system.
y en este caso
And in this
apoyarnos
case, we support
en el Seguro Social,
the
que es
Social
una institución
Security, which is an
que
institution
resistió
that
todo el
resisted
vendaval
all the
que significó el
this,
periodo
the
neoliberal, que
neoliberal
con todo
period
no
that
pudieron
would
acabar
that they could not finish with everything in this
Ahí está.
system.
Bueno,
So there it's still there.
este instituto
This institute took
de directores,
as a or had as a director
grandes personalidades.
great personalities.
Fue director del Seguro
The
Social,
director of Social
Antonio
Security was
Mena,
Antonio Ortiz Mena,
una personalidad
a
después de ser
personality
director
that after being a director
del Seguro Social,
of Social Security, he was Secretary of Hacienda, 2 governments,
en el gobierno
in the government of
de Adolfo López Mateos, en el
Adolfo
gobierno de
López
Díaz Ordaz.
Mateos and Azordaz.
12 años secretario
12
de
years
Hacienda,
Secretary of
el que había
Hacienda,
estado de
the one that
director
was there as the
del
director
Seguro Social.
of Social
En esos
Security.
12 años,
In those
Antonio
12 years,
Ortiz Mena,
Antonio Merta,
secretario de
he
Hacienda,
became
que por cierto
Secretary
fue
of Hacienda,
economista,
and he was not an economist,
era abogado.
he was an attorney.
En esos
In
12
those
años,
12
la
years,
economía de México
the
creció
economy of Mexico
a
grew
tasas de más del 6%
more than
anual,
6% annually,
sin inflación,
without
sin
inflation,
devaluación,
without devaluation,
sin deuda.
without debt.
Bueno, ese fue
Well,
el director.
That was a director,
Otro
but
director
another
del Seguro,
director of health,
don Jesús
Don Jesus
Reyes Heroles, un
Ayceroles,
paisano veracruzano,
he was from Veracruz, Paisa from Veracruz, intellectual.
que fue
That was Secretary
de Educación,
of Education,
posiblemente después de
possibly
Vasconcelos,
after
el mejor secretario
Vasconcelos,
de
the
Educación
best Secretary of
en México.
Education that was
Seguro
created,
Social,
and he was
don Jesús,
director of Social
don
Security,
Jesús fue
and
secretario
Don
de
Jesus was
Gobernación.
Secretary of
Fíjense el
Government.
tamaño.
Imagine
Y
the
luego,
size of
antes,
him.
últimos
And then
tiempos,
these last times
fueron directores.
that they had
El último,
the last
nada
one
más por ser concuño de Salinas,
was a brother-in-law of Salinas,
lo pusieron
and they
en el
put him
Seguro
in the
Social,
Social Security.
lo sustituyó,
So they substituted
peor
him,
todavía.
and then the one they substituted him with was even worse.
Pues, tienes que
So
mostrar que estás
You
a la
have to
altura de Antonio
show me that
Salinas
you are at the level of Antonio
Reyes Heroles.
and
Sí, te queremos.
Jesus Reyes. That's how we want you to be. So that's the guy there. He has to meet up to those standards. Oh, he's got some big shoes to fill.
Pues me dio mucho gusto estar
It was
aquí,
very much
ver a
fun
Lucas,
being here, and I'm
primero,
very happy
mi
to see
compañero,
Lucas, his
Lucas,
companion Lucas, his friend, I guess. That's him right there.
y estar en Jaltipan.
And to
Mire,
be
por
in
aquí
Jaltipan.
pasaba yo luchando.
I used to walk through here when I was struggling. I came here a few times when I was for the Exodus, for democracy. I'm not going to pull his ear because I know he's working with honor the money of the budget.
Pueden decir de Lucas de que
But you can say from Lucas that he walks slow,
no le han crecido las uñas.
but his nails have not grown.
Pues me da mucho gusto estar
So I'm
aquí.
very happy to be here,
Vamos a seguir
my
adelante.
people. We're going
Vamos a
forward,
apoyar
so we'll support you. The system of
este
health
programa
and this
y
program,
bienestar,
IMSS
y
Bienestar,
vamos a sacar
and we're going to
adelante
take
a nuestro
our-
querido México.
gonna
Que
get
viva
our family.
Jaltipan.
We're going to bring forward Mexico. Viva Veracruz, Viva
Viva
Jaltipan,
México.
and Viva Mexico.
Viva México.
All
Viva
right.
México.
Man, we're starting to get patriotic up in here.
Solicitamos
So
a los
anyway, he's
presentes
done.
ponerse de
So
pie
we're going to have to
para
end it
recordar
right there, you guys.
nuestro himno
All right.
nacional mexicano.
I'm going to stop it right there because they're getting ready to do the hymn. And you know what? I never did learn the Mexican, you know, the thing they sing. Like, but in any case, I wouldn't probably be singing it anyway. But it's really nice, you know, that a lot of it sounds repetitious because he's letting everybody know the whole plan, and basically he does repeat it from one place to another because every place needs to know. So he goes to 22 places and he lets them all know the same story, and except he gives them their own numbers. Like these numbers were different than the ones we said the other day. There was seems like not as many in this area, but the other ones had large numbers. But in any case, enjoy, and I think he's doing an excellent job, and so do the people. You can tell they're all very excited. You know, this is wonderful. This, you know, making sure that everybody all their needs are being met, and you know, and what I like about him is he doesn't hide it. You know, he doesn't hold back. If so and so was doing the stealing and doing whatever corrupt act, he just lets them have it, man. He puts them on blast, and that's as it should be, because too many people suffered over their corruption of these previous governments and the destruction they did, all to privatize, because when they privatized, they got paid these huge bribes, and so they were giving these people tax breaks. I know some people are leaving our country. Some of the big car companies, you know, some are like saying, "Oh, see, you know, Mexico, you know, you're losing the big companies." Well, no loss, because they weren't paying taxes. So let them come not pay taxes here. Let's see how that goes. Anyway, I'm getting on my old soapbox here, but I get angry that the big companies don't pay taxes and we have to. It's a sore spot with me, and that's here. You know, I know this happens here too, and it certainly was happening in Mexico. So when he said think of a name, and anybody, you know, you can think of a big name they didn't pay, that means nobody that was big was paying taxes. They were all just paying their bribes. So that's why they were in such a state of chaos. And it's a shame. It's a shame that the people had to go through that. Anyway, ciao, and like and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you on the next translation. Bye.